What's up, everybody? Welcome to another brand new live episode of Strong Style here on the Outlaw Nation. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined by these two awesome guys here. Aaron Turner, how you feeling? How you doing?
How's anybody doing these days, John? I don't know. Is anything Congress done anything crazy lately? I don't know. How are you doing, brother?
I've heard. No.
Great. I'm drinking for no reason, then, guys. Hope everything is.
Jesus Christ.
Hope everything's going well. Hope everything's going well with you.
Yeah, we'll get to the Kane portion of our show a little bit later. Hi, Chris Burns. How are you feeling, man? How are things?
Things are better. We had a little talk with the guy from Spectrum, straightened him out, and I'm back in full effect. Here we are.
Good, man.
Straighten him out a little.
When you're faced with a Bullet Club shirt, you got to listen to what the man's saying. Right. We got so much to go over here today. Certainly, we're going to talk about the NJPW Forbidden Door, give our predictions and our preview of that pay-per-view coming up. A lot of madness around that pay-per-view, a lot of drama, backstage politics. Tony Khan coming out and addressing some of that this week as well. We're going to jump into Triple H coming back to NXT, give you our thoughts on SmackDown, on Raw, on Dynamite, and if anything happened on Rampage we will talk about as well. And we'll also get into the slate of injuries that have been happening over the last few weeks, and how it's affecting booking, how it's affecting the product on the screen, and how it might be the most challenging time ever for Tony Khan and for whoever's in charge at WWE right now with all the things they're trying to line up. So we'll jump into all of that. And remember, Streamlabs SuperChats are open. The Streamlabs address right there on the screen, finally. Thank you to the big Tushka who made the adjustment on the graphics. Streamlabs is right there. You can also send in your Super Chat as we go on through the show. So, Aaron Turner, take us away, man. Where are we going first?
We got great news, guys. Actually, good news for once this week. It is... the game has come home. Triple H is back in Orlando. He's back, allegedly.
Yeah,
he's back running NXT. And guys, we've been dealing with the Shawn Michaels led NXT, which has had its ups and downs. I mean, it's been good, it's been bad, it's been indifferent.
Yeah,
NXT is now rainbow. It's no longer black and gold, and it's Pride Month. It's whatever, but. We've seen some great stars start to emerge out of there, as in Braun Breaker. We've seen some people leave, Tommaso Ciampa. We've seen that. So Triple H was the godfather of NXT in its heyday, and he was gone, dealing with some cardiac issues. Stephanie is now acting CEO. He slides back in.
Yeah.
Of course, we haven't seen him. He hasn't been to the PC since his cardiac event. And NXT, like I said, had been currently run by Shawn Michaels with Vince and Bruce consulting, with Vince now stepping aside and Bruce moving to talent relations.
Yeah.
Triple H said things are going to change, but did not elaborate any further. So what does this mean for NXT, our former favorite brand? What does it mean?
Chris, what do you got on this one? What are you feeling?
Listen, WWE has a talent for getting my hopes up and then firmly punching me right in the nads. And I, for one, am not going to let them this time. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to let them until I see that man come out and say, we are NXT. I'm not getting too excited about it.
Nope.
There's too many questions. There's too many questions up in the air.
Okay.
What's really going on behind the scenes? Vince McMahon is off the board as far as being the CEO, but he's still running the company.
Yeah,
everything still goes through his filter. You know, nothing. I haven't watched the NXT product at all in a little while now, and so I'm just kind of like, you know, I haven't heard much about how the programming has changed or if it's going to. So much, but also the glimmer of hope is because Triple H is keeping it very close to the chest about what he has planned. Because what I have heard is that him and Stephanie are very much in step about business and what's going on with the WWE, at least in the near future.
Wow. Fascinating. Yeah, I liken it to what's going on with Warner Brothers right now, right? I mean, there was a move to do this with Zack Snyder. Okay, nobody likes it. Let's move on. Well, people do like it, but let's in our minds, let's move on. Let's get something else. Let's bring a whole new team in. That team gets moved on. Hey, let's bring Zack Snyder back in to do his Justice League. Hey, he wants to keep going with the Snyderverse. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to do our own thing. Oh, wait, we just got sold. Here's Zaslav coming in. Cut Wonder Twins. Cut this. Cut that. So it's a constant state of flux. And that's what it feels like to me. Triple H now coming in. Is Triple H coming back in as the person to set the ship right again and find the best of Black and Gold NXT and the best of NXT 2.0 and somehow find a way to bring them together? Or is it Colin Trevorrow coming back to his creation and absolutely shitting the bed like he did in Jurassic World Dominion? So these are the questions that you have. Just because someone's coming back doesn't mean they necessarily are coming back on the white horse. Is this Gandalf the White? I don't know, but we shall see as this goes forward and how he makes it work. But like Chris said, they could absolutely swerve us. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes in the backstage politics. We don't know how many strings that Vince is still pulling, even though he's, quotes, taken a step back. We don't know what the issue is here because from all accounts that we've been hearing online and on social media, the narrative around NXT 2.0 has turned. People are liking it. People are praising it. People are talking about it more and more. So yes, it endured a lot of scoffing when it first was launched for a number of reasons, but they have seemed to found a way to showcase their talent, highlight their talent. So what's Triple H going to do to put his signature on this thing and elevate it to the next level? Or is he going to mess it up a little bit, a la Hulk Hogan and Bischoff coming into TNA after it had already been established as a certain thing? So I got a lot of questions in my mind, but I'm happy to see Triple H back, and he's done a good job before, so I'm hoping for the best. What do you think, Aaron?
I mean, no one in this room, in this chat room, in this podcast is a bigger NXT fan than me. I will fight you.
Fair enough.
I love NXT. I've loved it since its inception to being on the network and getting, its big push. And then I kind of dropped off when we went Rainbow, and it just wasn't the same. It felt like we're backtracking. We were used to having takeovers that would sell out the fucking Barclays Center, and then now we're having, matches on in a studio with 100 people. So it's kind of like, geez, man. But now it feels like, because they've gone back on tour. They did the Jacksonville show last night, which apparently, from what I'm hearing, was quite good. Mm-hmm. So they're going back on the road. They're kind of feeling their groove. They're getting their groove back a little bit. They're gonna need stars. Like we've got Breaker, we've got Mandy and Toxic Attraction. Io's been out with an injury. We'll talk about it. Like it's just a lot of moving parts for NXT, and it just doesn't. I don't know if we're there yet, but if there's somebody that can fix it, it's Triple H. Yeah. And I do want to address. Chris Miner made a good comment here. He says, with Triple H back, do we see them bringing back actual indie wrestlers instead of finding non-wrestling models and athletes? And my answer to that is no, because that's going to be a WWE thing. Mm-hmm. The whole NIL thing, name, image, likeness stuff that they're doing with college athletes, that's going to be the future for WWE. That's going to be the future breeding ground. However, having a guy like Triple H, who is trained by Killer Kowalski, he's a wrestling guy through and through. Yeah. So having a guy like Triple H on that side is nothing but good. Having Bruce there is not great, because Bruce is a wrestling guy. Yeah. He also and I feel like all the executives in WWE want to be Hollywood, right? Yeah. Vince wants to be Hollywood, Bruce wants to be Hollywood. All these guys think it's a Hollywood production. And I just think with having a guy like Triple H and Shawn there as well, that we can do that. We can mold them at least into liking wrestling and respecting it. Yeah. But not everybody has to be an indie darling to come in there and thrive. I think that's an old adage. You can be great on the indies. You can get your feet wet on the indies. That doesn't mean you're going to be some kind of great pro wrestler. Like right. It just doesn't happen that way. So having Triple H on the ground floor is the best way to do it and the best way to go forward.
Okay. Do you anticipate any programs? Someone in the chat here is really funny. He said that because Triple H loves us, he'll put a Nikita Lyons, Gigi Dolan matchup set up or program set up. So what do you anticipate he might do, Aaron or Chris, as maybe one of his first programs with his fingerprints on it?
Oh, I mean, all jokes aside, I think that's probably pretty close. I mean,
Solid.
We're forgetting Triple H. Well, I mean, we're not forgetting, but Triple H was very instrumental in booking the women's division.
Yes.
To like super strong in NXT, which gave way to the current crop of big time women's stars that we have on the main roster.
Right.
That was, that was his whole thing. So there is talent in the women's division in NXT. And I mean, Gigi is like a standout at 100%. I could definitely see him kind of rallying around her for the future of that brand. Absolutely.
Okay. What do you think, Aaron?
I think something else that is important is, we've heard a lot of disgruntled people like Roderick Strong. He wanted out of his contract, and Johnny Gargano hasn't even said if he's coming back or if he's going to AEW. I think when you put Triple H in there, and it's like, yeah, Triple H is running stuff again, I think that makes people go, oh, yeah, well, maybe I shouldn't leave because Triple H will take care of me like he always took care of me before, especially in the case of Roddy and Johnny Gargano. So I think that's big too. It's like signing, I don't know, it's like getting a really good GM to come in as like, or a coach. Like, hey, we signed, I don't know who a good coach. We got Belichick, and people want to play for Belichick, man. So it's like Triple H could be the Belichick of NXT.
That's a great point that people want to come back now that Triple H is in charge. That's a great point, Aaron. Yeah. Some fractured relationships, some issues from the past. Maybe Triple H can be the one that kind of massages it a little bit. And he has a track record of doing that too.
He's good at it,
yeah. If you know, I mean, with Flair, that's the biggest
Bruno
one.
Sammartino. He brought back Bruno Sammartino.
Right.
And the Warrior.
And Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, right. And Warrior. Yeah, exactly. So certainly it's in his pedigree. No pun intended, to be able to do that. So there you go. Do you think he's taking the belts off the Toxic Attraction? Do you think that's the first step he does? Okay.
No, they're the biggest female draw in NXT.
There you go. We got a Streamlab that came through here. Francisco Lopez says, "Hey guys, how's your day going?" Like John and Aaron couldn't fully answer my question last week. Chris, do you know what is happening between AAA and NJPW that Phoenix, Penta, and Andrade can't wrestle at Forbidden Door?
Yes.
Chris, go ahead, please.
So the problem is business relationships. New Japan Pro Wrestling has an exclusive relationship with CMLL Wrestling in Mexico. So with that being said, Andrade and like the Lucha Brothers, who are prominently featured in AAA, who has a rivalry with CMLL going back decades and decades and decades. It's just business-wise, they can't make that work because CMLL won't come to the table to negotiate with AAA to allow it to happen. Tony Khan is good at, fostering these relationships between different promotions, but not between those two. So too many moving parts, too much politics. So ultimately that's why we got Andrade Ray Phoenix last night on Rampage.
Yeah, and it's a shame because that was a damn good match, Phoenix and Andrade. That was just, it made me weep for the fact that we were not going to get Andrade at Forbidden Door. And, he's so snake bit on so many things. Of course, he's happily married now with Charlotte Flair. But, at WWE, he got there. He had the nice thing with Zelina. I don't know if it was ego, backstage politics, bad writing, creative. Eventually, they broke them up. And, Andrade never quite got there. Put him with Bill Mascaro, put him with, what's-his-face, like multiple times. It was so boring. And then he didn't quite get there. And then he comes to AEW, has a great intro, but then kind of gets caught up in all these other things. But every time he wrestles, he delivers some fantastic matches. So you're like, is this the champion in waiting? And here's a chance to showcase his talents yet again for an even global audience. And he's not going to be allowed to wrestle. So it's just a shame on so many levels, because I think this is one of the best wrestlers out there who isn't going to get a chance to ply his trade or isn't getting known at the levels that I think he deserves to get known at, in my opinion. So,
and the way that Forbidden Door is going, and we'll get there later, it's just like, man, they could have really used a little kick.
Right, exactly, for sure. Plus, he can wrestle in those fucking pants. I don't know how he wrestles in those pants.
I don't either.
All right. Let's move on here and keep the Streamlabs Super Chats coming, folks. It's a Saturday morning. I know a lot of us are probably a little down about things that have happened this week. Let's have some fun here for an hour and a half and send in some questions, thoughts, and comments. Send in some crazy questions, some questions from the past, some historical questions, some current questions, whatever you want to talk to us about. We're open for it. All right, Aaron, where are we moving to first? Or next?
Send in a $10 Streamlab and I'll do a shot.
There you go.
I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can do that on air, but
yes.
I'm a little stressed, John, and it's the amount of injuries we've got going on, man. Because this week we heard Rhea Ripley is out of Money in the Bank, and it's like, okay, what happened to Rhea? Oh, nothing. She just had she had to have some teeth fixed. She got a concussion, and she has a brain injury. Oof. That was undisclosed, so that's great. So I'm just going to go down the current list of injuries and inactives that we have right now for various reasons, and we got to talk about this because it's insane. So we've got on the AEW side, we've got CM Punk, of course, with an undisclosed injury. Adam Cole has a possible torn labrum, but he was cleared for Forbidden Door. Yeah, Bryan Danielson has a rumored concussion, which that's not good. Yeah, Kenny Omega still out with multiple injuries. Jeff Hardy, his of course arrest and multiple injuries. Matt Hardy injured himself over the weekend. He's out. Scorpio Sky has a leg injury. Tomohiro Ishii injured himself and is out of Forbidden Door as well. Bobby Fish has an ankle injury. Penelope Ford, an undisclosed injury. Buddy Matthews has a shoulder injury, but is still currently cleared to wrestle. Sky Blue has an injured foot, from what I read. Yeah. Red Velvet, an undisclosed injury. She's being completely replaced in that group, so it must be bad. Wow. The Bunny has an undisclosed injury and is set to return soon, but not quite yet. Jungle Boy, an undisclosed injury. And then it came out earlier this week that Kyle O'Reilly has a semi-serious knee injury and will be out of action for a little bit. Let's go ahead and swing over to the WWE side, where, of course, we got Rhea Ripley, who I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. Cody Rhodes with that torn pec that we talked about. Edge has rumored multiple injuries and has been written off television. Sasha and Naomi have their contract issues that are currently going on, both still with the company. No update on that. Bayley, a torn ACL that she has not come back from. Randy Orton's back injury now requires surgery, and he looks to be out for the rest of the year. Wow. And Charlotte has been written off TV for her wedding and is expected to be back after SummerSlam. So a lot of fucking stuff going on. So tell me your thoughts. Like, you go through this list and you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah. I mean, we see this happening, though, more and more in a number of leagues as well, in professional sports leagues as well. The injuries piling up all over the place. The NBA, the same thing was happening in the NBA, even into the finals, where certain players were nursing injuries. You know, Steph had that ankle injury. Robert Williams was having that knee injury for the Celtics. Like, you just see this happening. I think this is I think what's happening now, what we're seeing is sports medicine, sports science is so advanced now. These people are in tip-top shape. Such tip-top shape that the injuries come because everyone is at the highest level that they can be. So when you're hit by people like that, when you're slammed into by people like that, it's at the optimal way that you can get hit, and that can cause some injuries. And I think that's what's happening in all the sports leagues. I think that's what's happening in here in wrestling as well. And the demands, the constant demands, all the stuff that they're doing and the requirements of it, I think are higher than they've ever been before. Plus, in AEW, a lot of these people are allowed to wrestle outside of AEW and go to other matches, go to other promotions, go to do other things so they can make some more side cash. I mean, Thunder Rosa wrestles all over the place, so they make a little cash on the side. That increases your risk of being injured, increases your risk of having these issues coming across. So, and I don't know how much some other stuff is going on. Some I don't know how much the backstage, the medical staffs. I don't know how up to date they are. I don't know what their knowledge is. I don't know what the situation is, because you can go to Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns medical staff, and they'll put you back together. You go to Boston and they'll break you into pieces. So you just don't know which medical staff is going to take care of you. So to me, I'm just seeing athletes at the top of their game getting injured more and more because they're getting hit by people who are at the top of the game in ways that cause these injuries. What do you think, Chris?
To me, it's like the internet. People are saying, "Oh, there's so many more crazies out in the world, and so many more racists, and all these people with these ridiculous takes out of the world." No. They were always there. They just didn't have Twitter. You know what I mean? And I just think that's kind of where we are now. Like when I listen to something to wrestle or any other sort of archival wrestling podcast, and they talk about why certain weird things would happen in wrestling, some weird, strange decisions. So-and-so just didn't show up for a while. So-and-so wasn't in this match because they were injured and no one knew about it, and they would keep it quiet. Or God forbid, they would wrestle with the injury. I think that's why what just happened so recently with Cody was so jarring for us, because we're in such an age where there's so much more care done for athletes, and it's like it's not a walk it off situation anymore, which was the culture for so long, that we were just like, wait a minute, he's going to do something hurt? Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? And I think kind of that's where we are now, where maybe in the past, if someone tweaked a knee or an elbow or shoulder or back, they would just down a bunch of somas and get in the ring. And nowadays there's too much, wellness that has to, be accounted for. And so people aren't, just risking themselves in a way that they used to. And so I think that, it's probably for the best, or it messes with creative and things like that. But I just think that there's a lot more care being taken of the athletes nowadays.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point you bring up. Before we go to Aaron real quick, I think it's an excellent point you bring up, Chris, and this idea that, maybe these injuries were always at this level. They just didn't publicize them that much, or the culture was shake it off, get back in there, make your money, because if you don't, your family doesn't eat this week, or you don't pay your rent this week. So you deal with it. And maybe that's why we see all these older wrestlers hobbling around like Mick Foley, because of all the strain and stress and pressure they put on their bodies. No different than the old school NFL, old school NBA, old school, maybe even Major League Baseball. You see these guys hobbling around because of the strain that they put on their bodies by playing through injury, and that toxic masculinity thing of, you better be a man. You got to deal with it if you're a man, right? And so it's a clashing of cultures, and possibly that could be a part of it. What do you think, Aaron, might be the reason here?
Well, we talked about it before, right? Muscles make you strong. Muscles also tear super easily. These guys are at a high level, but I mean, you also got to think like they are doing things, especially in AEW, for all its good things. I mean, I think we can fairly criticize that sometimes they're putting themselves in not good situations, and that's part of it. But sometimes shit just happens. Randy Orton's also not 22 years old, so it's like shit happens. Like my doctor wants, for instance, super in shape guy, like in his early 40s, like super fit, all this stuff. All he did was step off of his diving board. Didn't jump off. He just like, crap, I got to take a phone call. Stepped off his diving board, slipped 2 discs in his back, and had to have major surgery. All he did was just step off a diving board. Sammy Sosa sneezed, threw out his back. It happened. Crazy shit happens. But I think you have two extremes because, as Ranger Donald said, Sabu in ECW was in a barbed wire match and jumped into the ropes and got his arm stuck in the barbed wire and then ripped it and tore his biceps and fuck it and just taped it up and just kept going. And then with his fucking tendon just hanging out. And then you have, on the other hand, you have somebody like Sin Cara, the first Sin Cara. Dislocated his finger in a match with, I think, Alberto Del Rio and just fucking quit. So it's like, it's one of the two, like it's extremes. It's just something crazy that happens. But if you don't put yourself in those situations, it doesn't tend to happen. Cody lifting weights, allegedly. Matt Cardona, the indie darling right now, is injured with a torn bicep. You know how he tore it? Ripping off his shirt. That's it. There was so crazy. But shit just happens sometimes, man. It's wild.
But let's add another element to this. And I know they're not supposed to be taking these things, but we do know that it's very possible that also PED use is involved here. We do know PED use does cause more injuries down the road, even though it makes you look fantastic and it shreds you quickly and all that jazz, and you can recover faster from workouts or from a match or from a game. Those things do tend to stress your tendons and make them a little more wiry, and things snap. So is that an element of this? I know the drug policy is the best it's ever been and all that black PR bullshit, but don't tell me these motherfuckers ain't still using it on the side. It's certain people, just like they still keep catching people in sports leagues using this shit and at the Olympics recently. So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility that this could be a part of it as well. And, Cody looks naturally, he's, muscular. It's not that kind of rip that we've seen that it's very obvious to have been on the PEDs. Do you guys think that could be an element of this as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I just think, I don't think that's ever going to go away. Yeah. As a culture of people with athletes and, who have to put their bodies on the line for certain things. I just think they get more clever about it. They find more ways. There's always a way to buck whatever system is in place to check for it.
Yeah.
And so I just think they're probably getting more sophisticated at using it. I mean, I can't name names, but I've seen some shit that was like, oh wow, this is 1987. We're just doing that. You know what I mean? And so, I definitely think it's still in play. I think that's absolutely.
Daniel
right.
Price saying allegedly that's why Triple H tore so many muscles. Roids made him more susceptible. Roids also made Cena more vulnerable, but ironically sped up his healing time as well. So allegedly, I want to say
John Cena's full of compound V.
That's all those make-a-wishes.
Throwing ropes, baby. Throwing ropes.
What do you think, Aaron? Do you think the PED stuff is a part of this possibly?
No, I'm actually going to refute everything you guys are saying because I want you guys to go look at the list I compiled of people and tell me which one's juicing, which one's on the gas.
Well, they don't always have to show.
Come on. Tell me but seriously, tell me which one's on the gas. Tell me which one. Omega's on the gas. Give me a fucking break.
Matt Hardy definitely on the gas.
He might be on T, but he ain't on like the gas.
Scorpio's guy could be on the gas. Bobby could be on the gas.
Come on.
Buddy could be on the gas.
Ford, have you seen those biceps?
Listen, man. Like, who's like the most ripped person?
Edge could be on the gas. Edge is old school, bro.
Edge is probably on T. But anyway, like the thing is, like,
allegedly,
if anybody could be like, you would think that guy probably uses PEDs just by the way he looks, would be Pac. And that guy's has not been injured in AEW at all. Yeah, so it's like, if that's a guy, but I don't think he does. But I'm going to refute all of that. So I'm going to say no.
So you're saying what Chris has witnessed, his eyes were betraying him, what he was witnessing. Is that what you're trying to say officially on the show?
In fairness, what I saw was someone who was like, oh yeah, how'd you get so ripped? Okay. That's why you got so ripped.
We don't need to talk about gender like that.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? I'm going to bring Shanky in here to dance on your face.
Oh my God. Stop it.
A lot of these people defending
Adam Cole definitely not on the gas, brother.
I love this shit. People, guys, not everything is the truth. Okay, I want to make it very clear. Some things are PR based, PR promoted. Now, do I think Omega doesn't drink? It's quite possible he doesn't drink. Yes. Do I think he might have slid a beer or two in his lifetime? Yes. So don't tell me this stuff. People, as they get older, and especially the way Omega wrestles, it's not out of the realm of possibility to maybe at a low be on a low level schedule. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm not saying they do, but that could be a part of it. For Rhea, I don't know what the situation is for Rhea. So
Rhea Ripley, a couple weeks, I think she was wrestling Alexa and Liv in a tag match or something.
Yeah, and
she was sliding out of the ring, and when she slid, her foot hit the bottom rope, and her knee hit her in the face.
Oof.
So that's why she had to have the dental surgery, and she may have cracked her skull because she hit pretty fucking hard. Yeah. But I don't know. But so that's what's going on with Rhea. I don't think Rhea's on the juice. You see her working out all the time.
No. I know she's young too, so it's a different situation.
And this stuff about Booker T and Adam Cole, like people want us to talk about it because Booker was being kind of harsh on Adam Cole, which he later refuted.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what's wrong with Adam Cole. Adam Cole might be fucking ill.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, so I don't want to guess. But he's lost muscle mass, but there could be reasons for that. Like I'm not ready to jump into that.
Some people speculated that he was losing muscle mass because it was causing him more injuries, so he thought losing muscle mass would cause him less injuries.
There you go.
And that happens. People adjust. Hogan was pretty big in the 1980s, went to WCW, and he was on the roids, but he was losing a little more trimmer approach to it. So it can happen. And we saw, who do we see that, like, as soon as he left wrestling, it was like, absolutely slimmed down. So we've seen that before. It's not out of the realm.
Everybody from the 80s?
Yeah, probably. Chris Miner says, if Tony asked you to book a Forbidden Door with WWE AEW, what would be the dream matches? You get a tag women's and male singles matches. I've got Becky versus Tony, Usos versus the Bucks, and Roman versus Punk. So I see what you're saying. You're saying a Forbidden Door with WWE and AEW, not with NJPW. Okay, so yeah, all right. AEW versus WWE. Becky Lynch versus Tony Storm. They could have done that, and that's a low-level match at this point. I don't know if that's my choice. Usos versus the Bucks could be a lot of fun. Roman versus Punk. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys got? I mean, I'd put Thunder Rosa up against Becky more, or Asuka. Asuka Thunder Rosa would be a fun match, but I think Becky Thunder Rosa could be a lot of fun. And Roman.
Damn you, Chris.
Roman Wardlow would be a fucking awesome, fun match, I think. A younger Lesnar going at him. I think it'd be great.
That sounds like big, meaty men slapping meat. I like it. Right. I would like to... This is low level too, okay. But I would like to see Ricochet and Darby. I think that could be a hell of a lot of fun. I would like to see Wardlow versus Gunther.
Talk about big meaty men slapping meat.
That's a good one. I like
that. Just a fun, good old promo off. I would like to see Becky Lynch Britt's good on the mic. Yeah. But she would get mauled.
Oh my God.
She would get mauled by Becky Lynch, and I would like to see it.
Okay. What do you got, Chris?
I would like to see Riho. No, it's not Riho.
Stop.
Not Riho. Why am I forgetting? She's injured right now.
Sheeta.
Oh.
I would very much like to see Sheeta versus Sasha Banks in a women's match. That would be an effing banger.
I agree.
I do like Usos Bucks a lot.
Yeah.
But I want to see the New Day versus the Bucks.
Ooh.
That's their friends. Yeah, Woods is friends with them. I know for sure. When the New Day is motivated, they can have 5-star matches with any tag team. Right. And I think that would be enough for them to really, really go for it. And I want to see Roman Reigns versus, just because I want to see what he says about him, MJ.
Oh my God. Ooh. That's a great one. Yep, absolutely. Yep.
What about, and I know you're just saying, you're going to rip all the black people together, but what about Big E versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Keith Lee? Just fucking reinforce that ring.
That'd be great.
The Juneteenth triple threat. I like it a lot.
Hey, freedom, brother.
Wow. I like some of the suggestions here with
Satnam Singh versus Omos. We got it. We've done it. Go home.
With Giant Gonzalez as special guest referee. No, I like the idea of Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins. Rollins would be a fucking awesome banger. Make it a half an hour match, man. That would be just stellar. Tony Khan versus Kevin Dunn. What?
Goofiest face on
a pole. Bugs Bunny looking motherfucker. I saw someone said, someone said Jade and Bianca.
Oh yeah, Jade and Bianca could be fun.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, Cargill versus Charlotte too would be interesting. Those two long ladies going at it. I'd be down to watch that.
I need a more athletic. Like Jade's good. She's a former basketball player and stuff, but I need Charlotte would wipe the floor with her and make her look bad, I feel like.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Hook versus Theory is a good one.
Oof.
Danhausen versus The Undertaker. Darby versus Cora Jade, skateboard on a pole match.
Danhausen versus The Undertaker. I think that's genius. That's the one right before the main event. Absolutely. That's just
Dad.
Christine, yeah, right. Christine says Hook had his best match thus far. Makes me wonder if he would bode well doing time with the LA Dojo. The Okada coin drop elicited an Austin-esque reaction. Becky truly is the GOAT with her post on the BS of the past 24 hours. Thanks for the show. And we'll get to the Okada stuff certainly when we get into the Forbidden Door AEW stuff. But yes, I agree with you. Okada, man, people, it's amazing. You know, Aaron said last week, not a lot of people know these people. People know Okada.
So they sure do.
And they absolutely exploded for him, for sure. Orlando Rego says, here, let me bring this up. Happy to hear Triple H back in NXT. Remember, he took it over in 2012, and it took a year for fans to notice it. Oh, that's fair. Maybe that's why they made a bigger deal of announcing it and making it clear that he was coming back, because they wanted him to have credit from the beginning. We shall see. Look, I mean, we all know stuff might be happening behind the scenes, but if it is really Stephanie and Triple H finally taking over the WWE, I think a lot of people will be very, very happy and start to see more eyes on the product. We talked about last week how some of the ratings are down, some of the numbers are down, the reactions are down. Maybe that's a way to bring people back. So it could be a lot of fun for sure. All right, Aaron, anything more on the injuries, or shall we move on?
That's all I got, man. I did want to note that some people in the chat said Nikita Lyons. She's coming back to NXT next week, and she wrestled last night at the Jacksonville house show. So she is good to go.
There you go. All right, keep sending in your Streamlabs super chats, people. Send in support here as we go along. Aaron, let's move it on. What we got next?
All right, we're going to round up the Raw and SmackDown notes. I'll go through the matches, and we will talk about them. Carmella, of course, we talked about Rhea being injured, so that left a spot open for Bianca's next challenger at Money in the Bank. So we got a fatal 5-way, 4-way match where Carmella ended up earning the women's title shot by defeating Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Asuka, and Becky Lynch.
Wow.
Omos defeated Riddle to qualify for Money in the Bank. Don't forget that Riddle just had that great match with Roman Reigns. Dave Meltzer gave it 4.5 stars. Angelo Dawkins defeated Jey Uso. Lashley defeated the gauntlet of Alpha Academy and Theory to earn a United States title shot. Jesus Christ. Elias came back, played a concert, smashed a guitar over Kevin Owens, and then it was announced that his brother Elrod would make his debut soon. We saw Ezekiel backstage when Elias was performing, rooting on his brother. And then AJ Styles defeated Tommaso Ciampa to qualify for Money in the Bank, and Asuka defeated Becky Lynch later on to qualify for Money in the Bank. On the SmackDown side, just a couple things of note. Shotzi defeated Tamina to qualify for the women's version of the Money in the Bank, and Gunther defeated Ricochet to retain that Intercontinental Championship. So there you go, Raw, SmackDown in a nutshell.
I'd be remiss not to mention Natty coming out, and then Ronda finally getting a nuclear level shot at Natty as well, saying the only way you could main event is by dressing up like me. That was beautiful and correct. When Ronda's been beat from pillar to post on social media, her getting a shot in on a promo was nice. Look, I mean, I tweeted about this, the Ezekiel Elias thing. It was fucking genius. I loved it. Talked about. Yes, you could absolutely tell it was shot 2 different times in 2 different situations, and they put it together, which, look, anybody can do with the good technology. And they made it work, and it was seamless. And when they said together, walk with Elias, I thought that was great. What does he call his people? The Ezekielites, whatever he calls them, the Zeke freaks, which I think is great. But the Elrod thing from Kevin Owens, I mean, he finds a way, bro. I mean, as great as Ezekiel and Elias are doing this thing, it is Owens, man. And Owens saying, I don't care who it is, or if their younger brother Elrod, and everyone's like, who the fuck is Elrod? And now they're saying Elrod is going to show up on Raw. So look, at least they know they've got a good program here, and they want to make a big deal out of it. And I think everyone involved in it is doing phenomenal work. There's not much I'm enjoying on Raw, but I sure as fuck am enjoying that as well. So what stood out for you guys for Raw or SmackDown? What do you guys want to talk about?
I mean, that's 100% right. It's the best thing on the program. You united the Raw and SmackDown world titles, and you never see the champion on Raw.
Yeah.
No, you
never there. I just don't understand. Your competition is riddled by injuries. You are suffering as well.
Yeah.
But so rather than have your biggest draw show up to help you, you turn Edge babyface, and then that gets snake bit because Ripley gets hurt. And
right.
I mean, are they just like twiddling thumbs until Cena gets there next week, or they're just kind of this has been the worst 2 weeks of WWE programming in a long time, and Elias and Owens are saving it every single week, and I hope they go full bananas.
Oh yeah,
I hope this becomes Dudley Boys level of members of the family, where it's just like sign guy Ezekiel and
big Dick Elias.
You know what I mean? Like, I want it to go bananas crazy, because it's the only thing I'm really like checking for on Monday Night Raw right now. It is like my favorite thing in wrestling. Next to, weirdly, the Jungle Boy Christian feud.
Oh my God, we got to. We're
suddenly become my favorite thing. Yeah. But and then on SmackDown, have you guys looked at the card for Money in the Bank?
Yeah,
it is bad. Unbelievably bad. It looks like a WWE main event on no bullshit at all. It looks terrible. Aside from the 2 Money in the Bank matches and the weekly programming is showing, and it's sad because they have such an opportunity. Yeah. Like one of the biggest critiques of WWE is that they can't make new stars. They don't feature everybody on the roster prominently. Okay, people are hurt. Let's go. Yeah. This is your chance. Let's do it. You know, thank God that they're pushing Walter properly. Ricochet had to be sacrificed in order for that to happen, but he's been being sacrificed since he got on the main roster. Yeah, man, I don't know. Besides Owens and Ezekiel Elias and Walter, and I mean, actually, really good match between Nakamura and Sami Zayn too.
Yes, yes, it was.
They cannot not have a good match with one another.
Right.
Turn that into a real feud. Why not, guys? Yeah. That's it. That's all WWE's got for it right now. Okay. Until Roman comes back, but he's going to wrestle Brock for the 20th time. So
yeah, McIntyre called him out on that. He's kind of a little bit of a breaking the walls. I guess Brock can just show up and get a match. That's how it works for Brock. The Brock way is what he called it, but he's got a different path to walk. What stood out for? I've got a couple more things to say, but what stood out for you, Aaron?
Well, Mr. McIntyre, when you make as much money and put as much butts in the seat as Brock Lesnar, then you can talk. But
that's fair.
This fucking Kevin Owens thing should not work in any way, shape, or form. It's like when it first happened, I was like, "What are they doing? This is insane."
Right.
And somehow, through tomfoolery and shenanigans and just kind of leaning all in, and it's honestly Kevin Owens.
Yes,
like course. Kevin Owens is the MVP of this whole thing. It's working, and it's working well, and I can't believe it. Shout out to Sign Guy Dudley, and shout out to Big Dick Dudley, R.I.P. That's great. What a great analogy! Just adding people to the family would be great, and then you have the whole Elias family
versus the bloodline. The Elias family versus the bloodline. No, if they can make that happen, would be incredible.
Oh dear. Just a CG match. But it's like this thing with Asuka and Becky Lynch is like, it was great that Asuka came back, and it's like, wow, they're going to put her with Becky. This is great. And then Asuka, like, for whatever, just gets on my fucking nerves. Like, I love her as a wrestler. Like, I think she's one of the best.
Yeah.
But she just comes down there and she's like, wait, Becky, you cry. And I'm like, are we, like, this sucks. Like, this is not good.
Okay.
And I feel like it's always the same with her right now. And I'm not digging it. I don't like it. I don't like that they're main eventing the show.
Okay.
And Bianca's like just fucking forgotten and fighting Carmella, who she can beat would beat normally on Raw in like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
I just want to point out one thing. I'm also worried about Mr. Ciampa, because Tommaso Ciampa was built up as this, psycho killer in NXT and all this stuff. Then he comes on Raw and he's losing to AJ Styles in like 3 minutes. And I don't like that, because he's like shrouded by this thing with the Miz. Like, are they friends? Are they not friends? Is he joining the Judgment Day? Is the Judgment Day not a thing anymore because Rhea's out? Like, it's this weird area. And I feel bad for Ciampa, because I know he's better than that.
Yeah.
And shout out for Gunther for bringing some respect to the Intercontinental title like it needed to be.
Who's Gunther?
But
You gonna tell him to his face that his name's Walter? I'm not. I'm not.
Well, I want to say this. I was surprised that Carmella came out on top in the match with Alexa and Liv and Asuka and Becky. I was surprised. Becky was incredible afterwards, going crazy, all that kind of shit. They are working that so well. Look, I know the other women might be pissed off about it, that they're still making Becky the focus, but she's their top earner, man. And so you've got to keep her in the mix. So creating a storyline where she's so frustrated and she is taking the L's like a champ, and God love her for doing that. And, going after the 24/7 title, not being able to get it, flipping out after getting knocked out by Asuka with that kick, which was fucking gorgeous. And then going ape shit on the announcers there. I thought that was great. But also, this is a nice thing for Carmella, because remember, Carmella in the past, she had faced Bianca, I think, a couple times, and people were kind of bored that she was going to be facing her at SummerSlam. Then Becky shows up. So the fact that she can now step in, I hope they let Carmella wrestle a fucking incredible match, because we know that she can. And then she still takes the L, because Bianca's got to stay champion. But at least she wrestles an incredible match. It kind of puts her in a good position, elevates this whole thing they're doing with her and Corey Graves and the show they've got, which I don't know if anybody's still watching that show.
Nobody watches that show.
Fair enough. But I saw some people, some Liv fans were super pissed that she didn't get the shot to go after it. And I'm just, guys, she's hit the ceiling. There's not much more to go for her unless she pulls some kind of Becky Lynch miracle out of her butt. I don't see Liv going much farther than where she's at. And to me, it's like when you cheer for George Bush saying nuclear correctly for the first time. Every time she does one move correctly, people lose their fucking minds. I know that she's advanced, and I get that, but she hasn't advanced to like fucking superstar level to be carrying the belt, in my opinion. So I don't understand that nonsense of people going crazy about it. But I like the fact that Carmella got the victory here, and I want to see something. I want to see a good match from her overall. And I want to stress again, the fucking Natty Ronda thing was great, because Natty, and I don't give Ronda compliments on pro wrestling that often, so I got to give them when they do happen, to be fair. Natty eviscerated Ronda on social media eviscerated her last week. And for Ronda and her to come out dressed as Ronda with the baby carriage, for Ronda to come out and just call her out on her plastic surgery, on her assets, and then go after the fact that she has to dress up like her to even remotely come sniff a main event, that was next level destruction. And from one heel to another, because she's supposed to be the face, but that was heel work. That was fucking beautiful. So give me more of that Ronda on the goddamn mic, and I'll be happy. So I don't know if we're making a turn in these promos to gonna go all the way back to the Attitude Era, where we're mixing the reality with the fakeness there, but I'm down for it. So what did you guys think about the promos? What did you think about the Carmella getting the victory? Anything good out of that?
Well, you guys brought it up. I think the best thing to come out of this Carmella situation is that they're not pushing that Corey Graves thing anymore.
That's true.
Because I mean, that was just like, it was like Vince had just like woke up and like thought something and said it out loud.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what it looks like when Carmella and Corey bang. And then it was like, oh yeah, let's write that into the show.
Right.
Like, good God. So glad that that's over. But we know Carmella's not deserving of the spot. Everybody knows that it's a filler situation. Right. You know what I mean? She'll beat her. It's fine.
Yeah.
If this was, Vince Russo writing it, Carmella would win because it's a swerve, bro. But
is this you, Russo? Is this more your work, Russo?
Good Lord. And then the Ronda thing, I thought it was enjoyable. My thing with Ronda has always been the same. If she's going to be babyface or heel, she just needs to lean into her natural ability to sort of be kind of a bitch. You know what I mean? It just is what it is.
Yeah. That's the key. That's the unlocking key. Yeah, you're right.
Austin was a babyface, but was he smiling and, being nice to people? Like, you know what I mean? No, he was a badass, kicked your ass. He just happened to be up against a bigger asshole. The problem is, with Ronda a lot in the women's division, there isn't a bigger asshole than her. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then when they tried to do it with her and Charlotte, they had her talk too damn much.
Yeah.
So it's just like, small doses of Ronda on the mic, letting her do what she does in the ring. That's the way to handle this. And the ending to that, the whole thing was a little awkward. They sort of struggled over the carriage, and then Natty just kind of fucked off. And so I was like, oh, okay. But it has provided some interest in this match. Yeah. Some interest.
And if Zoom was right that Natty kind of maybe wrote that all out for Ronda, then all props to Natty for being willing to put herself in the firing line in such a way. I respect that actually from her if that's what happened. And is Molly there still? So I wonder if Molly had any of that input in that as well, and so we shall see. What do you think about this, the Carmella and the promos, Aaron?
Carmella, give me a fucking break. But it's just like, it's not only... Well, yeah, but it's like we haven't seen her in a good spot in a long time.
That's why I'm hoping she gets a good spot here, man.
I think the bloom is off the rose for her. I think so many women have already passed her. And I'm going to say something. You guys are going to look at me like I'm insane.
Okay.
I thought that over the past couple weeks that Dana Brooke had acquitted herself quite well. She had a decent match with Becky Lynch. I was like, Dana Brooke, God damn it, you might have something here.
You're not wrong, Aaron.
Finally, and then she's not even in the qualifier. I was like, man, what is going on? Like, I thought she deserved to get a little. She didn't have to win, but I thought she was going to get like a little bit of time there, and that kind of surprised by that.
Yeah.
But the thing with Natty and Ronda, like I don't know what the basis of it was, but Ronda said something like Natty said that she was going to beat Ronda with a smile on her face or something like that, and then Ronda chimed back by saying something like, Natty, we know you can't smile. There's too much Botox in your face or something like that. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. And then she was throwing shade at Jenny Neidhart. We don't throw no shade at Jenny. Ronda.
Yeah, he said, go and do OnlyFans with your sister.
You need to back off Jenny Neidhart. We don't do that kind of thing. But yeah, Chris is 100% right. Exactly. And I thought from day one when Ronda came into WWE, you watch those old Strike Force and UFC weigh-ins and those promos, Ronda is such a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like, it's so
her natural instinct.
And she's great at it, dude. Yes. Because she would tell people in MMA and stuff like, hey, I'm just going to beat your ass. I'm going to break your arm. I'm going to tap you out with the arm bar. And then when the cage closed, she'd go do it.
Right.
So it's like, you got to respect her to an extent, but they've never fully leaned into that heel character, and they need to really lean into it to make Ronda even bigger than before. If she's going to stay, I mean, I don't anticipate her staying more than another year or so. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We got some super chats that came through here. Let me get them all. Ranger Donald says, did anybody see the new AJ Styles and John Cena colonoscopy billboard advertisements? Hey, go get them. I know a number of people who are getting colonoscopies recently, so yeah, go get them.
But have you seen these things?
No, I've not seen them. I just read the story.
Oh my
God.
The
story, but I didn't see
it. They are golden. It's because it wishes AJ Styles like happy 40th or 41st birthday or whatever, and then it's like time to get a colonoscopy. It's just fucking. It is like perfect misdirection. It is the bait and switch. You're like, oh, that's cool. WWE got him like a billboard to say happy birthday. Oh, it's fucking he's old and he needs to go get his fucking butthole looked at. That's fucking. It is fantastic. Look at that.
What the hell is going on?
That is fucking great.
This cannot be WWE approved. There's no way.
It has to. It's Nick. This smells like Nick Khan all over the place. All over the place.
I don't like this.
Hilarious. This is
I don't like this at all. And to be honest, if we're talking about colonoscopies, I have a stat. Since the unfortunate passing of one Chadwick Boseman, there has been quite an uptick in younger folks getting colonoscopies and having themselves checked out. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I've had 3 in my lifetime because I've had digestive issues since I was 35 years old. They are not a pleasurable thing to go through, but in the end, they have caught cancerous polyps that they've taken out. So that shit works. It's effective. There's no shame in it. Throw that fucking shit away. Get checked out. Our friend Kevin Smets, who survived cancer and it's in remission now. He got checked early, thank God, and got that taken care of. And he's been very vocal about it. And a lot of people have been inspired by his being vocal about it to go get checked out. So, and especially in this wrestling world and the nerd fandom, there's a lot of gastrointestinal issues in the crew. get that shit taken care of because you want to be around to enjoy this shit long into the night. So
and you will blow massive farts.
Yes, exactly. If you ever been to a Comic-Con, it can wipe out a room for sure. Let me see here. I don't want to miss anything. All right. Luis Enrique, do you think there will be a title change at Money in the Bank? I don't think so, to keep the spotlight on the ladder matches. What do you guys think? A title change possibly?
No.
What title?
Yeah, what is even on the line besides the women's titles? Anything?
Isn't the tag team title going to be on the line with the Usos possibly?
Oh, that's right. Usos
Yeah.
Usos and Street Profits.
Yeah.
No.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, they're going to give them all the singles wins, but they're going to give them the titles.
You know what? Maybe the 24/7 championship will change hands.
It just changed hands on Main Event, sir. So let's put it on the pay-per-view.
That'll happen.
Luis also says, do you think Cena will get one spot for Money in the Bank since he's celebrating his 20 years as a wrestler? Oh, I don't know. Maybe. What do you guys think?
That's not a bad idea because I could see him like getting to the briefcase and then Fury costing him that.
Good point.
That's what sets them up.
Yeah.
So I could see that. But yeah, why not?
With a selfie on top of him. Yeah, I could see that.
There you go.
Orlando Rego says, good that Okada is going to be at Forbidden Door because the pay-per-view card is kind of weak. Thoughts? We'll get to that, Orlando. We're going to get to the Forbidden Door in just a little bit. We got to hit Dynamite first, then we'll get to Forbidden Door predictions and our conversations about that. So thank you, Orlando. We will definitely remember that when we get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on here to Dynamite. What do you got there, Aaron, real quick, and then we'll jump into Forbidden Door.
All right, let's light the fuse. Starting off with Bryan Danielson coming out to address the crowd, saying, unfortunately, as we talked about earlier, he will not be able to compete at Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
He says there will be a replacement to face Zack Sabre Jr., a person that is a great wrestler, and yada, yada, yada. We can speculate on that in a second. Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice defeated the United Empire. Christian Cage cuts a scathing promo on Jungle Boy. Malachi Black defeated Penta Oscuro to advance to the Forbidden Door Fatal 4-Way. Talk about that later. Hangman Page defeated Silas Young and was attacked by Jay White and Adam Cole, leading to the appearance of Okada. And then Toni Storm defeated Marina Shafir, which apparently her nickname is The Problem, and the only problem she has is winning on television. Tanahashi and Jon Moxley defeated Chris Jericho and Lance Archer to end the program. So there's AEW Dynamite for you.
The Danielson promo is very interesting. A lot of people speculating Gargano, Cesaro. That's what I've heard. I don't know if you guys have heard anything else, but like, how can we not talk about the Cage promo? Sweet Mary Mother of God. As if last week wasn't enough insulting the mom. It's just coming out and just going off on the whole thing, and just calling out Jungle Boy and saying, your father is dead. I'm not your father figure. Wow. Like, just wow. And then Luchasaurus coming out and possibly getting ready to destroy him, and he talks him down. So what does that mean? Jurassic Express splitting it up. And I love that it's because something that happened a year ago. This is what Cage, this has been the long game the whole time. So him going after his sister, going after his mom, and then literally going after a guy's dad who died, being Luke Perry. That's some next level shit that I never expected to see in wrestling, for God's sakes. And maybe I should have. I don't know. At least from Christian. What did you guys think?
Listen, when Christian debuted in AEW, a lot of people were disappointed because they were hoping it was going to be like a bigger name or like a sexier name that was, showing up. Put all the respect on Christian's name. Do you understand? This dude has always been good, really good. And, he's kind of undersized. He has a body type that makes it look a little awkward sometimes. And, so he's never been like pushed in a way that's ever sort of fully elevated his talent. I look at him like Owen Hart in a lot of ways, where it was like, dude, this guy's really fucking great. But everyone is always looking at Brett, you know what I mean? Or Outcast. Like, everyone, Big Boy is an amazing rapper. Everyone focuses on Andre 3000 because he's Andre 3000.
Right.
So, and I think that's kind of where Christian has been in a lot. but you know, he was great in TNA as Christian Cage initially. He was absolutely great when he was doing the Captain Charisma stuff in WWE. He was great. Exactly. And he's always been a savage on the microphone forever and a day. So you got to give these guys something that they can sink their teeth into. And boy, howdy, have they found it for Christian. Because, again, there's just levels to this thing. There's levels to this thing. Yeah. And aside from MJF, most of the guys that can really go on a microphone are people who've been trained and done it on the highest levels. Yeah. And Christian's done it on the highest levels for years and years and years now. So you give him a live mic and a real storyline where he can blur reality and fiction. Because, I mean, like you said, the whole thing with Luchasaurus was him going, don't forget what happened to Marco Stunt. Yeah. It's like they haven't even mentioned Marco Stunt's name since he disappeared. And I was like, oh, what does that even mean? I'm intrigued. Yeah. And, you know, it played out in such a way that you were not expecting any of it. You were not expecting the level of, like I said, savagery that was going to come out of Christian's mouth. Yeah. You weren't expecting that the Luchasaurus thing to de-escalate the way that it did. What the hell's going on there? I am all the way in to what's going on. Yeah. Unfortunately, I heard that Jungle Boy might be injured. So that might wrinkle whatever storyline plans that they have, or this might be a good thing because you keep Jungle Boy away from getting physical with Christian and he gets to continue berating him on the mic and, you know, selling the injury from the attack. So, dude, I am bravo, sir. Bravo, sir.
Yeah. What do you think there, Chris? I'm sorry, Aaron. Sorry.
I thought it was great, and it wouldn't be me if I didn't unfairly criticize things about it.
Oh my God.
The thing is, I wish that Christian would have, because it kept throwing me off because he kept saying Jungle, like, hey, Jungle Boy, and would say something like, why the fuck is he saying Jungle Boy? Like, I know that's his name, but why didn't he say, like, I wish he would have stopped and just been like, Jungle Boy. I've said it like, that's a stupid fucking name. I wish he would have just said something like that because that would have fit perfectly with how he was going. He's like, I'm just going to address you, Jack. This is his real name. And I wish he would have done that. Don't be fucking throwing shade at Dylan McKay like that. 90210 legend. Don't be. He just walked into the peach pit and just kicked in the jukebox. I don't appreciate it. So.
Well, I mean, did he throw shade? He just said the man's dead. He didn't say he didn't insult his acting. He didn't insult his character.
He said it aggressively.
He did say it aggressively.
And it's just one of these things where I'm like, do we? I get why it's there. And if it was anybody else, I would be like, that's fucking dumb. Because it's Christian, it works because Christian made it work for him.
Right.
When like Natty did it, or no, when Charlotte did it to Natty, or Paige did it to Natty when the Anvil Neidhart died, I was like, that's fucking horrible. Don't do that. And then, like, when Paige went after Charlotte for Reed Flair dying, I was like, stop. That's cheapy. But I think with Christian, it works because Christian, number one, he's not an asshole in real life. Jay Rizzo's not an asshole. But it's like he makes it work for him to the point where we're working here and you know that Christian's going to make it work in a way that works for the storyline. So I'm okay with it there. What does this lead to? I don't know. Yeah. But I like like Chris said, like Christian was so petty about it because he got eliminated from a battle royal like a year ago. And Tony Schiavone's like, you can't still be holding a grudge because of that. That was forever ago. And he's like, shut up, Tony. People don't forget. Like things like that.
Yeah. Rip that earring out of your ear.
Yeah, rip that earring out of your ear. It's so great. So everything about it was good. I just a little note would have made it even better.
Yeah, fair enough. Him calling him Jack to kind of destroy his name, I think would have been really funny. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not going to call you Jungle Boy. Your name is Jack.
Pussy.
You pussy. Exactly. Let's see. I also loved, I thought the Hangman Adam Page. I mean, OKADA, we got to talk about that because a number of people asked us about it on the super chats. OKADA, I did not anticipate that kind of reaction from the fans. My God, people lost their shit. And he rolled in there and he seemed to dwarf both of them. Look, I know he's tall, but his presence, his energy seemed to dwarf both those, or all three of the guys, rather, you know, if you throw in who he was fighting against. I mean, it was incredible to see him roll in there and do what he does. And that, I know we're going to get to our predictions, but I don't know how he doesn't win the match after that reaction. I mean, Okada just comes in and I loved, the idea of him and Hangman Adam Page, never thought about it, never even considered it, to be honest with you, because of what's happened. But that moment was really nice. And I'm like, wow, that could be a fun thing down the road if they could ever make it work. But Jay White interrupting Adam Cole, Jay White saying, you lost to this guy twice. That was genius. And then getting in there, and then Adam Cole holding the belt and that little interaction with him, it was all so fucking well done. So that by the time Okada came out, the fans were already on edge and then just shot through the goddamn roof. So whoever booked that and choreographed that deserves an incredible amount of credit because it worked so well in the moment. What did you guys think of Okada?
I mean, what can I say? What can I say? But once again, we all owe King Switch a huge thank you.
Yeah.
We owe him gratitude. We owe him praise. We owe him tribute.
Yeah.
He, once again, is the catalyst of pro wrestling, making things happen. Oh, everyone's so excited that Okada showed up. Why was he there? Because he wanted revenge on my leader, my guy, my captain, captain, Jay White, the current, lest you forget, sir, IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. So what can be said? Look, sure, it's cool to see the Rainmaker in the States and all that, but once again, it's all about Bullet Club, baby. It's all our era. It's all about us. Come on. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Partly kidding. Lest we forget, when New Japan was at its height of popularity in the United States, it was all about Kenny Omega versus Okada.
Yeah.
Jericho coming later and taking it even greater.
Yeah.
When he took on Kenny, that was late. That was the next year.
Right.
When it was started to really bubble, kind of like our discussion with NXT, when people really started paying attention to NXT, when people were like watching NJPW and staying up late to watch Wrestle Kingdom live, and it's like 7 hours of wrestling, and people are like, isn't this great? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, that was all Kenny Omega versus Okada. And that's when people got to see Okada a lot for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And got to see this dude is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable. Like, he is a wrestler in the late aughts or whatever we're calling this time who can get a lariat over. You understand? Turn you around and just take you out, and people pop like crazy for it. He gets a drop kick over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Late in matches when Flair and Steamboat would do the bridge out, and that was impressive to people that they could do it so late into a Broadway. He drop kicks you an hour into a match and everyone loses their fucking mind. I mean, the guy he's so good, so smooth. He's a technician. He can brawl. He can do it all.
Yeah.
And he, like you said, John, his presence.
Mm-hmm.
His it's like he's a deity who's descended down to grace us with his presence. And a lot of it is, shout out to Gato in New Japan. This is the way he's been booked.
Yeah.
They've booked him like a literal living legend. He's beaten everybody. He's unstoppable when he's the world champion. It's always a big deal when he loses. So the last time I think we saw him in the US was when he was being jobbed out in Impact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Long before they started giving him these crazy title reigns and all that in New Japan. So, and then the other thing, I know we talked about it in text a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think we got a super chat about it too. The card for Forbidden Door, it's looking all right. It's like, okay, some of this is exciting. Injuries are messing it up and on that and the other, but it's just really missing some heavy hitters.
Yep.
And it was starting to look like WWE, WCW Invasion for a second, where it's just like, well, yeah, but where's Goldberg? Where's Hogan? Where's Nash? Where's Hall? And that's where it was with this. Where's Naito? Where's, and then Okada shows up. And it's like, oh fuck, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, fair. Chris, thoughts? Aaron, what do you think?
We talked about it last week. I said the problem is like a lot of these New Japan guys, people are just not going to know.
Right.
They know Okada.
Yeah.
They knew when the music hit. You saw the crowd. Like it just, that's rare because it's not like these well-known. I wouldn't say they're well-known tunes in the United States. Not to me anyway. I mean, I could just be speaking for myself. I didn't know the song, but when I saw the guy, I knew that it was a big deal. I knew that it was the guy. And, you kind of got a little bit of vintage Jim Ross when he was like, if you don't know who this guy is, I'm here to tell you it's a big deal. And like that made it feel huge.
Right.
And like you said, the person who choreographed this whole bit needs a raise because when Adam Cole had the IWGP belt and he was going to whack Jay White with it.
Right.
And then Jay White turned around and Adam Cole's like, oh, no, lift up Hangman. That was great. That was so well done. So good. Throwback Adam Cole. That felt like a vintage, that felt like an undisputed era Adam Cole move right there. So I liked all of that. I like what we were doing there. The dissension between Cole and Jay White's good. We could see that move further.
Yeah.
But Okada, man, just a big, that's a big star.
Yeah.
That's somebody, that's a huge person coming into your company. So that's really great. The Bryan Danielson thing, we should talk about that real quick. Like,
okay.
Hearing that it's a concussion really scares me because we know why he left in the first. How many goodbyes are we going to get from Bryan Danielson until like it's enough? And I'm not here to. I don't tell painters how to paint, and I don't tell wrestlers how to wrestle. But I know this guy has 2 kids and a wife, and he doesn't want to be walking around in a wheelchair. He doesn't want to be drinking out of a fucking straw his whole life and not remember going to his kids' dance recitals. So you got to think about that. I know people will say like, oh, you're being a little bit extreme. It's not really extreme to think of that could be such a thing. So I just hope
have you seen Big E lately? It's not extreme. Anything can happen. Yeah.
I hope Bryan Danielson, the man, is okay. Yeah. As far as that goes, I really truly think a lot of people are saying, oh, it's going to be Kenny Omega. I'm like, no. It's going to be Cesaro or Claudio Castagnoli. I think it absolutely will be because it makes the most sense. The way that he was describing the person that was going to be there, it wouldn't make sense to be Kenny because I feel like he would have contempt. And then I don't think it's going to be Johnny Gargano because I don't think that people would give a shit as much as you think they would give a shit.
Okay.
I think if Cesaro popped in, it would be like, okay, this makes sense because he's legitimate. He fits in that New Japan strong style kind of thing.
Right.
I think it would be so fucking entertaining to watch a technical match between Cesaro and Zack Sabre Jr. I want that a lot.
Okay. All right. Chris, you have speculation or who you think might be here? Might be taking Danielson's place?
Well, the thing about Gargano is, Gargano was sort of trained by Bryan Danielson, right?
Yeah.
So there's like the history there.
Sure.
Maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but I think it's going to be Cesaro too. Some people have been saying Chris Hero, and I'm like, if you could choose one of the kings of wrestling to show up at Forbidden Door, it's Claudio. It's not Chris Hero.
Yeah.
What's getting me is, what did he say? You're going to be astounded by what this guy does.
Yeah.
He said it like that was like a clue. And I'm like, who the astounding? Like, what? Like, what am I supposed to get from that? Like, is there an anagram I'm supposed to decode or something? But I think the smart money is definitely Cesaro or Claudio. And like you said, it'd be a much bigger deal. He was a main roster guy in WWE. He had the Cesaro section. He was very supported by the fans at several points. It's the biggest bang for your buck as far as who's left out there. You know what I mean? As far as who's going to have a technical match with Zack Sabre Jr., he's the biggest one. They could fucking swerve us like in crazy, and it's like Bray Wyatt, and you're just like, wait, what? You know what I mean? And it's like, and then Bray Wyatt has a technical spectacle with Zack Sabre Jr., but I just don't know if that's the direction we're going in exactly.
I have 2 thoughts. You guys have covered pretty much everyone, but I have 2 thoughts. One, it could be Bryan Danielson. He's just swerving the fuck out of all of us, and he is going to be.
That would be somewhat interesting,
right? He's talking about himself. He did say it's someone from the Blackpool Combat, or he hinted that it might be someone from the Blackpool Combat Club.
Well, the other two are booked, so it's not there.
Yeah. So the other side of this is my man just bought Ring of Honor. What's a great way to bring attention? Get your champion, Jonathan Gresham, to come down and be a part of this thing. Jonathan Gresham, Zack Sabre Jr. may not get the huge explosion, but this is synergy. And when you run multiple companies, you want to kind of use one to promote the other. Gresham is a possibility. Do we look at it like, oh, is it a great matchup? I don't know. But it could be interesting to see Gresham have a little bit of a showcase in a situation like this. You give a little more love to Ring of Honor. You let this guy get known a little bit more globally as well. And so, I don't know, just something to consider. But you two are probably right. I'm just throwing it out as a possibility because, I mean, you just purchased the company. You want to have people showcased in your in a big pay-per-view like this. So, you know, maybe.
Shout out to Zoom. I thought it when he was doing the promo, I thought it was William Regal too.
Regal?
I thought he was going to say Regal. I was like, whoa,
No.
like what the fuck? But
no thanks.
Thank God it wasn't.
Well, Regal said he's done. He said it many times. He said his heart can't even take it. So
no offense. Nothing would bore me more than that.
Jonathan Gresham, I think it would be a good pick if we had concrete Ring of Honor plans. Like, say Ring of Honor was coming back, like, oh, Ring of Honor will be back in 2 weeks on TBS at 3 o'clock on Sunday evenings. Then I could see them penciling them in there. But can you imagine in Chicago, where they know wrestling? Chicago's a great wrestling town. Imagine when Cesaro or Claudio or whatever puts that swing on Zack Sabre Jr. They're going to be fucking popping for that.
That's a good point. Yeah,
it's going to be
Cesaro.
That'll be a big moment for him, I think. So that's why I think. Now, if Johnny Gargano comes out there and he gets the Gargano escape and he does the lawn dart and all his trademarks, he'll get a pop as well. But I just don't think it would fit in the same way that it would with Cesaro.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Because you could buy Bryan Danielson and Cesaro being friends. Like, you could buy that they respect each other. Johnny Gargano and Danielson, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into let's see if I've got I got a Streamlab from Justin Toner. It says, hey guys, I have not been very excited for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Maybe it's a combo of the less than stellar build up, the injuries changing the card, and also my lack of knowledge for New Japan Wrestling. I hope the matches deliver. Christian's heel promo was gold. Absolutely, brother. And we're going to give our predictions in just a second here for Forbidden Door. There's one more super chat. Roberto Arsenal saying, gutted that Ishii got injured. Wanted him and Miro to wrestle. I'm still hyped for Forbidden Door. The fatal four-way for the IWGP title will be the match of the night. All right. That being said, Aaron, go ahead. Yeah. What?
I think so as well. But we can get there.
Let's jump into it. Let's get into our predictions here as the last thing we're doing here on the show today. Let's go.
All right, if I pronounce the things wrong, don't hate. So first up, we have the Young Bucks, my guys right here, and
Hikuleo
and El Fantasmo, aka Chris's friends at the Bullet Club, versus Darby Allin, Sting, Shingo Takagi, and Hiromu Takahashi.
Yeah,
in a tag match. Who you got there,
Chris? Who you got?
Is there a more hastily put together?
Fuck, dude. It feels like all these matches were put together this week.
Match and stable name for, because first of all, let me go ahead and just welcome back my boys, the Cucamonga kids. Let me just embrace you guys for a second. So happy to have you back in the fold, even if this was one night only, like you say. You may say that, but never forget, when you're Bullet Club for life. So happy to have them back. But dudes with attitudes, that's what we're going with for these four cobbled together guys. First of all, there's only one dudes with attitude, and it was the two dudes with attitude.
Sean and Big Daddy.
First of all. Secondly, okay, I mean, look, I absolutely adore Takahashi. Takahashi's unbelievable. I hope he brings Daryl and the other cat with him to the U.S. God damn, I don't want to. I don't want to say out loud that you know, that Bullet Club's not going to pull it out, but Sting's coming back from injury.
Yeah.
Darby's so super over. You know what? This is still going to be a Bullet Club victory because we're going to graciously put these guys over. That's how you spin that. Boom, I found it. So sure, the dudes with attitudes, that's the pick.
Yeah, I got to go with dudes with attitudes as well. I feel like that's the more exciting decision in this matchup. And so it just feels more like that's the choice. So yeah, no, you know, like in-depth analysis or, you know, anything like that. It just feels like it's the right choice. So that's where I'm going with as well. But I agree with Chris. It's an unfortunate name. It's something out of the 1990s. It's not really a good name for a stable, for a crew.
I'll just echo that. I'll just echo that. I don't. Yeah. Just as long as just beat the Bucks. I don't care.
All right, where are we? What's the next one, man?
Zack Sabre Jr. We were just talking about versus Cesaro, Johnny Gargano, Kenny Omega, Bray Wyatt, fucking Vince McMahon. I don't know, whoever he's fighting.
I think Zack Sabre Jr. wins because I mean, it doesn't. If you're bringing in someone from the outside, it's like John Morris, and they brought him in to God. What if it's John Morris?
Oh God, it's John Morris. My God, it's Johnny Strong style.
I'm back again to lose. I don't think the person's going to win, but I think they're there to deliver a phenomenal match, and Sabre's going to get the victory. Because, I mean, it's unfortunate that Danielson is out of the situation. So why would you punish the other guy? It doesn't make sense. The guy who stayed healthy, you know. So to me, it just makes logical sense to put Sabre Jr. over in this match. What do you think there, Chris?
Yeah, I can see the booking to where Zack Sabre Jr. like ekes out a victory, and so like the mystery person looks strong. But the point that is bugging me is that the new guy is the newest member of the Combat Club, and it's like you don't want to introduce him with a loss, do you?
No, you're right. Shit. All right,
I don't know if Tony wants to do that, so I'm going to go with the mystery box. I'm going door number 2.
Fair enough. If it's Cesaro, okay, I can see that. If he's going to be part of the Blackpool Combat Club, yeah, that makes sense. All right, what do you think, Aaron?
Well, according to Wrestling Logic, if he comes out of a box, he's instantly over. So I will go with Cesaro. If it's Cesaro, I will go with that as well.
Okay. What if it's Gargano or Gresham?
Tougher sell. I'd go with Zack Sabre Jr., but I think it will be one of those like, hey, let's respect each other and shake each other's hands and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. What's the next one?
All right. So our next match is Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and the Murder Grandpa, Minoru Suzuki, versus Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shuta Umino.
You go first on this one, Chris.
Definitely the team with the easier names to pronounce. Well, first of all, what did you guys think when I was in internet? God, I just thinking about last week. I couldn't even say it. Yeah. But when Sammy Guevara rejoined the Jericho Appreciations, isn't this just the Inner Circle without LAX?
Trash. Yeah, trash.
Okay.
Yeah. The fact that you need to put him back together with Jericho speaks volumes. They're essentially using Jericho as a shield for him and Tay Conti to help him along, give him a little more heat, but also keep him from any kind of situations, have Jericho there. So it just makes sense, but it's a shame for Sammy because Sammy is supposed to be ascending here as a solo act. Going back with your mentor doesn't make sense to me on so many levels, but yeah.
Well, I told you what happened. Jericho's a wizard and a succubus. So he saw that Sammy and Ty Conti were getting the heat. And he's like, I need some of that. So that's why he brought Sammy and Ty into the fold.
It's like a different Stranger Things.
Which is also the reason Jericho's team will win because he is a wizard and no one has any mage points on the other side of the table. So absolutely. Team Jericho.
Yeah, I go Jericho as well. If he's going to pull the wizardry stuff. But no, I just think you're not. I know you guys hate my hate of Eddie Kingston, but no way do I think they're going to give Eddie a victory in NJPW. In Forbidden Door. It's got to be Chris Jericho. Plus, they gave Eddie what he needed the other night with the pen and biting Jericho's face. That's going to carry over afterwards, so they don't need to give him the victory here. They'll give him the victory down the road in a more one-on-one match. So it just makes more sense for Jericho and Suzuki and Guevara to win. Especially because Guevara, as I said, is your guy on the Ascension. So you got to give him the W as well. He's probably going to get the pin, to be honest with you. So
I don't know why the mage thing popped me so hard, but it did. I like to think that if Jericho is a wizard and he's got a team of wizards with him, then Eddie Kingston and his team can be Leroy Jenkins. And I think that Eddie and his team will get the victory over
You think Eddie's going to win?
Yeah, I think Jericho, the Jericho appreciators can take an L here.
Okay. All right. What's next?
All right. Winner take all for the IWGP Tag Team titles and Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. FTR versus United Empire versus Roppongi Vice. I don't know how Roppongi Vice got added to this because they have no belts. So because of Rocky, that's how they got in there. But FTR all the way.
Okay.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think FTR because right now where they're at and how people are talking about FTR, it just makes the most sense for FTR to get the victory. So yeah, FTR for me. What about you, Chris?
Oh yeah, for sure. The other two teams, they just don't. Again, why the Gorillas of Destiny aren't in this slot, I just really don't know. So. Roppongi Vice is fine, but no. They've already been on TV, not really doing that much. And the United Empire, sorry guys, if it ain't Ospreay, I don't care. You know what I mean? So, and FTR wasn't on the last pay-per-view. Come on, get them some more belts. Let them go wrestle in Japan. Of course, they're going to want to wrestle in Japan. Yeah. So, yeah, for sure.
Where are my men, the Good Brothers? We're the Good Brothers.
Yeah.
No one cares. Anyone cares.
How dare you?
They're speaking during Jay White's promos. That's what's going on.
Yeah, that pissed Corny off, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. That pissed Corny off. But anyway, next match, we have the...
wait, can we stop for a second? Speaking of Corny, sure. I went into a black hole with Corny the other night, like just watching his or listening to his stuff, because that animated shit is hilarious. But like him going off on Aubrey Edwards, oh, Lordy almighty. I had never heard my feelings concretely spoken by another person before quite like Cornette spoke about Aubrey. And then seeing the videos of people and just, I had no idea some of the shenanigans that she has pulled in the past. So, because I felt weird. Like I shouldn't be against a female referee because I should be, because I feel I want to support women getting these positions, getting in these, and naturally I want to, but not because I have to, because I want to. But this is, I mean, and then hearing her say things like, oh, I don't want to be the center of attention in a match. I'm like, how can you be this, out of touch with things? So shout out to Corny. I may not always agree with him, but I appreciate the fact that the man comes with a shit ton of knowledge one way or another. So yeah, anyway, just wanted to say.
I would encourage you to listen to this. It's the drive-through, I think, for this week, where he statistically broke down that if you took the thought of average of a sex worker that you could hire per day, and the $3 million that Vince paid for a non-sex worker, how many indeed sex workers that Vince could have per day? He added it up, and it's like Vince could have had a sex worker each day for 60 years.
Yeah.
Or just paid one lady $3 million. So there you go.
Yeah. But as I said before, guys like that don't want to pay for it. They want to go get it. They want to earn it. It's an ego stroke. And Corny's never been the most attractive guy. Vince, an attractive dude. So he can get what he needs to get. There's a different approach to the world. Like when I see critics try to bash Elvis Presley movies, I'm like, you motherfuckers couldn't pick up women to save your goddamn life. You're going to go criticize Elvis Presley? The way they choreographed those films, the way they brought out those storylines, is because these motherfucking good-looking women fell over them for him. So please Stop trying to tell me how you view Elvis Presley and the storylines in those movies when you couldn't pick up a woman to save your life. Cut it the fuck out. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
Let's not pretend like Priscilla wasn't like 14. Let's calm down, John.
I'm not talking about Priscilla. I'm talking about the movies. I'm talking about the movies.
All right, fair enough. Anyway,
go ahead.
Our next matchup is the AEW Women's World Championship. We're getting Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm.
Far be it for me to say Marina Shafir wrestled a decent match, but she wrestled a decent match against Toni Storm. And I thought Toni worked well and got a legitimate like the pin was a smart pin. And I liked seeing that. It wasn't that she beat her. She just pinned her smartly, which is good. Shafir doesn't lose too much of the shine that they're trying to put on her. And Toni Storm goes in with a victory against Thunder Rosa. This is tough because you can say Thunder Rosa, they've done a terrible job booking Thunder Rosa, whether it's Thunder Rosa's fault or AEW's fault or both of their faults. Then the drama and the controversy with Marina Shafir and Britt Baker. Is she still the one you want to have the title? But do you want to have your title change hands at a pay-per-view that is not really your signature pay-per-view? I don't know if that's the way you want to go. And I think Toni is not quite there yet in terms of her ascension in the company. So I think they want to give Thunder Rosa a good match. I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa, although I won't be surprised if Toni wins because they think they can do more with a beautiful blonde young girl, American white girl. Australian white girl. But I also think Thunder Rosa deserves better. So maybe Thunder Rosa getting the victory here, and then down the road, as Toni grows in stature with the AEW fans, she gets the victory down the road. But I don't necessarily see it happening here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. Chris?
Yeah, I think if Toni wins here, they're making the same mistake they do a lot, where they put the belt on somebody who's not quite where they need them to be.
Yeah.
Like even Thunder Rosa, after that first match with DMD, it was like, okay, put it on her now. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Then they waited. Waited for months, and then her momentum died, and then they put it on her. And it was like, no, that was the wrong time. Yeah. So that's why DMD worked, because the belt went on her right at the right time. You know what I'm saying? When she was still not overexposed, and everyone was like, she's a breath of fresh air. So look how good she is on the mic, etc.
Yeah.
Toni, what's missing from this match is a personal issue. There isn't one.
Yeah, good point.
Toni and Rosa. It's just like, oh, Toni's the number one contender. We have a match. So for me, I'm picking Rosa. She should win. And this should cause a personal issue between her and Toni Storm.
Oh, good point.
To be paid off at a later pay-per-view.
And maybe they use the real-life criticisms that Shafir and Britt Baker had as the kind of dividing point here, possibly. Anyway, Aaron, what do you think here?
I'm glad you said that, because if Toni Storm was to win, then you have the same problem that you have currently with like Thunder Rosa as champion. Like she beats Britt, and then it's like,
now what?
You're looking around, right? And like, okay, who's next? So if Rosa, which I think she will, I'll pick Rosa. Rosa beats, Toni Storm, and it's like you kind of do the look around. It's like, who's next? And then no, we're going to turn Toni heel or something like that, because Toni Storm is a heel in NXT. Worked. It absolutely worked. They didn't really roll with it. They had her losing to, no offense, Zoe Stark on the opening of Takeover. Like, that's not going to work. But when she was a heel, she made it work, and people believed it. So if she could be a heel again, I'd be into that. And then eventually have her take the belt off of Rosa and try to make us care about it again, because right now all we kind of care about the women's side is Jade Cargill. I hate to say it, but it's like, when's Jade Cargill going to really explode? And I think that's really what everybody's looking at, instead of Rosa, who's arguably one of the best workers in the entire wrestling business. So we need to get some more respect on Rosa for sure.
Real quick, Red Comment asks, where is DMD? Do you see Britt Baker doing a run-in or interfering in any way, shape, or form, or no? Okay. All right.
I would hope not. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's next, man?
All right. So next we have, for the IWGP United States title, we have Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, man.
Ospreay.
Go ahead, Chris.
Ospreay. Yeah. Mainly because as I'm like looking down the card, I'm like, oh, this is a clear like AEW win. Look, Orange Cassidy is This is going to be a fun match. They're going to do some flippy shit, that we are not expecting, because you can't, again, gimmick aside, when Orange Cassidy does moves, you're like, wow, that dude's an athlete, Yeah. And so to match that against Ospreay, we're going to see some impressive stuff. Ospreay all day, though, for the win.
Yeah, I think Ospreay as well. And much to Aaron's chagrin, who I think Ospreay is going to certainly win. I sent you guys a clip of Ospreay taking on that 17-year-old, and Aaron was bored by it, sadly. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a fun match with him and Cassidy, because Cassidy had some shots in Dynamite, had some great moves in Dynamite a couple of days ago. So I can't wait to see that being full on with him and Ospreay. They gave us a nice little sample of what we might be getting there in that matchup. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I think Ospreay absolutely gets the victory here. Aaron?
I don't care. But
oh, Jesus.
I'll take Will Ospreay just to make everybody happy. Roberto knows. He knows what's going on. So I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm never going to be a fan. Miss me with that bullshit. I don't care. Wow. So let's go.
But he defends Eddie Kingston. Anyway, all right. What's the next thing, Aaron? What's our next one?
Eddie Kingston speaks. All right. The next match is for the inaugural AEW All-Atlantic Championship. It is Malachi Black versus Pac versus the God. Wait, what's it? The God Butcher. That's what I'm going to call him. Miro, and now Clark Connors, who has been added to the match to replace Ishii. I'm not talking about Dr. Kirk Connors from Spider-Man. I'm talking about Clark Connors. Your thoughts here?
Miro, absolutely. I just have a feeling, especially with that promo he delivered the other night. I mean, absolutely take advantage of the Gore the God Butcher thing that's happening right now with Thor.
That's what his name should be, dude.
Yeah, I agree with
Miro
you.
the God Butcher?
He's like, I'm bringing the pagans. I'm bringing the pagans with me. It's just so awesome. I love the beard. So I think absolutely Miro gets the victory. Plus, he's coming back. You want to give him a nice signature win. And I think this is the way to go. And nobody else needs the victory. I think Miro needs the victory as a way of welcoming him back fully to AEW. So, yeah, I think Miro wins, the Redeemer.
I'm picking Miro just because I want the Redeemer versus House of Black as a feud. Like, his whole thing is about answering to his gods and this, that, and the other. The House of Black is like, we have no gods. We are the gods. And that dynamic going at work, and then seeing Miro versus Brody King. Let's go. Let's go. So Miro for the win.
Unrelated, but kind of related. The Satanic Church opened back up this week after being closed all the time for COVID. That's a fact. I'm not making that up.
Wow.
But I'm going to go with Miro as well. And I really hope he goes with Miro the God Butcher, because that fucking rules. And then I hope he wins and goes off to Herogasm.
Oh, there we go. Oh, nice little boys reference. Good job. Good job, man. All right, next one. Ooh.
I think the next two are like really what's going to make or break this entire show. But first, we had Switchblade Jay White King Switch, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, versus Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole Bebe versus Okada. IWGP Heavyweight Championship on the line. Fatal 4-way. Let's hear it.
I see the floor to the Bullet Club member here, because I don't know. Go ahead, man, Chris.
It's not fair, okay? It's not fair. King Switch is going into a situation against three legends. He doesn't even have to lose the title. I think it's a conspiracy. I think just like it was a conspiracy last week that the internet cut out when the week that Jay White becomes the champion. I got all these things to say, and my internet doesn't work. And now they're trying to take the belt off of my guy, off of my man. It's just, I got to write some sternly worded letters to AEW management and New Japan for that matter. But silver lining, Adam Cole, another Bullet Club brother, he's there. Maybe he picks up the win if Jay's not around. That'd be an interesting swerve, because I don't think anyone's expecting Adam Cole to win.
No, not at all. And
Adam Cole has put over a lot of people since coming in to AEW. Sure, he's the Owen Hart, tournament champion, sure, but In every other big match, especially for the world title, he's lost.
Hmm.
And what an interesting dynamic if Adam Cole goes to Japan as the IWGP champion. With that being said, I think that the right decision is Okada.
Yeah.
I could see them having plans in place until he actually debuted and they saw that reaction. Yo, what I mean, oh God, but he just lost to Jay White. I'm going with Jay White. I'm picking Jay White. I can't pick against you, King Switch. Captain, leader, I can't do it. Let's do this. Do this one for the club, baby. Let's go.
I got Okada because there's no way he loses from that. That pop the other night, there's no way they have him lose. So I've got Okada. Plus, Jay White's already got the victory of Okada in the match that mattered, which was for the title. So giving Okada a little bit of measure of revenge would be great. And they seem to have set up that there's some friction between Cole and White. So I could see Cole costing White the victory in a critical moment, which leads to Okada getting the victory overall. So I think Okada is the way to go here. All apologies to our previous guest, Jay White, who's been on the show. But I think Okada absolutely does. But I also think Hangman Page comes out of this one with some great fucking great notices afterwards as well. What do you think there, Aaron?
Boy, I'm going to go in the same mind that Chris had. I'm going to surprise you guys, I think, with the next two. I'm going Adam Cole.
Wow.
I'm going Adam Cole to win this because I don't think people would see it coming. Adam Cole's wrestled in Japan before. Him and Jay White could be doing this thing. Like, we could see them going up against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something I'd like to see. Okay. Okada is always going to be good. He's evergreen. Hangman Page. Hangman's like the odd dude out in this. Doesn't it feel like a little bit like Adam Cole kind of like jumped over him? And I don't know how that happened, but I'm going Adam Cole. I think he will surprise us, and Adam Cole, baby, will win.
Is there an argument to be made for Hangman Page? I mean, the way they ended things, it was Page facing off with Okada, kind of looking at him a little bit after that whole run in and all of that. Could those two be the ones who are at the end battling to see who's going to win that match? It's very possible. It's very possible.
I think that after Jay White barbecued Hangman Page in that promo, that is a possibility. Yeah. That Jay White retains or Hangman Page wins and they go at it. So something like that.
Yeah, good point.
Either way, I think Jay White's figured in and Okada is not into this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, one more. What's our last one?
Chris, go ahead. You want to say something?
I was just going to say, if this match was for the interim AEW championship, it would be more interesting, in my opinion.
Okay.
Then I would say Okada all day should be the interim AEW champion.
Right.
For sure. But because it's the IWGP title and the way Japan books the wins and losses of that thing, they don't hot potato that belt. You know what I mean? They never have. That's just kind of not the way they get down. For it to change hands on an AEW show.
Good points. Good points.
You know, I just don't see it. I just don't really see it.
Okay. All right. So then last match here. What do we got, Aaron?
For the AEW Interim World Championship, we have Tanahashi versus Jon Moxley, and I'll take it because this is where I do it again. Tanahashi beats Jon Moxley.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why, because it makes more sense for Tanahashi to go up against the returning CM Punk than it does for Jon Moxley. And I'm not saying Jon Moxley hasn't earned his stripes. He's done great. I thought he was a great AEW World Champion. Whether I like him or not is what is irrelevant to this. I think that Tanahashi makes sense. He's a guy that, we've seen AEW has so many goddamn championships that you don't have to have the title on TV every single week. Yeah. And if you want to bring him in for those quarterly Battle of the Belts, the Grand Slam and stuff like that, until Punk's better, you can do that. So that's what I think. I think like AEW's like, okay, listen, we're going to let Tanahashi win our belt if you can let one of our guys win your belt. And I think that's kind of going to be the thing. I don't know. But I just think it makes a lot of sense that Tanahashi wins.
Okay. I got Moxley because I don't see Tanahashi. He may say he's got no problem flying in, flying out. I just feel like that's still an annoying thing to add to the whole situation. So I think Moxley gets the victory. I think he needs the victory. I think it continues his rehabilitation and redemption with the fans. And I think just that just makes the most sense for me personally. So what do you think, Chris?
I have to go with Aaron. The way that Tanahashi's legacy works is that, he was the guy who saved New Japan, when they were in their lowest and slumming it and they weren't being booked very well. He emerged as he was the John Cena.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh, well, what's WWE going to do now? The Rock is gone. Austin's gone. We don't know. And then John Cena comes and saves them. And that's exactly what Tanahashi did in New Japan. And it keeps being this reoccurring thing of, well, when is it over?
Right.
When is he going to retire? Why is he still wrestling? Is he as good as he ever was? I don't think so. Or maybe he is. And then he pulls out these ridiculously good matches. And the ace still has it. He's still the ace. This is a perfect way to continue that story.
Right.
Oh, no one thinks he's going to beat John Moxley for the AEW championship. He's just there because they needed an opponent. And he wins. And he freaking wins. That's good storytelling. And then something that they can then put attention on AEW programming and New Japan programming. And it continues to foster this relationship. And it's the most beneficial for everyone involved. It adds the most interesting outcome for this whole messed up CM Punk interim title situation. And it brings more light to the New Japan product to the United States. And I think that's what this whole pay-per-view is for. So I think that's the right decision. Go Ace.
Roberto has an interesting point. He says FTR wins a New Japan belt and Tanahashi wins an AEW belt, kind of balance things out. That's possible too. It's an interesting logic for sure. Do we see Punk showing up at the end no matter who wins? No?
It is Chicago.
It is Chicago, but he's going to come out and be like, I'll see you eventually. You know what I mean? Like, no.
I get this boot off my leg.
They could do the old thing he did with John Cena when Punk came back and John Cena held up the interim belt. CM Punk held up the real belt. They could do that. They could do that again if they want to.
Do that again.
It's Chicago. CM Punk's going to be there somewhere.
I could see him opening the show.
Yeah.
The music, have him come out, sit down, welcome everybody.
He'll be in a fucking box or something.
He could call the match. He could be on the desk.
There you go.
That's a possibility.
Remember when RVD was injured and he couldn't wrestle at the first ever ECW One Night Stand?
Oh, right.
He came out and cut that amazing promo.
And like Ryan speared his ass.
Yeah. Like Punk should do something like that.
Senior Nerd asking, what about MJF? Any chance he shows up in any capacity at all?
I wish.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I don't.
There's no place. There's no place for it.
Unless he's joining the Bull Combat.
Oh, fuck.
Hey,
he's his own guy. You don't need that.
We'd welcome you with open arms to Bullet Club, baby.
Why is through? I know Jeff Cobb's like involved in another match, but like, why is Jeff Cobb not fighting Wardlow? Like, why is that not happening?
That's a fair point. All right, well, there you go. Anything more to talk about? I think we're good, right? We've gotten all the Streamlabs. We've gotten all the Super Chats. Thank you all so much for joining us. About 80, 70 all watching us right now. We had 100 at some point. So please make sure you hit a like on this video as you watch it, as we're wrapping up here as well. If you're watching later, leave a comment down below. Always good to hear and read y'all's comments. We may not respond to all of them, but certainly read them. So thank you very much for doing that. Aaron, another fun show, my man. Where can they find you and everything going on?
Twitter at only Aaron Turner, TikTok at strong_style_live, killing it on the TikToks.
You are.
So just find us there. And Forbidden Door on Sunday, probably going to be live tweeting as I watch. Nice. So we'll do that.
Someone send me a free link. I'm just putting it out there. Someone send me a free link. Chris Burns, where can they find you, brother? And what you got going on?
I'm here, man. You can find me at Chris_please on all the things, social media. It feels good getting to chill in LA for a little bit and be at home and not traveling. Get at me. Let's talk wrestling on the Twitter.
There you go. As for me, you can always find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. And please remember to subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the content we got going on here. And that's it for us, man. Go and enjoy your Saturday. I know it's been a tough week. Tough last couple of days for people. Certainly Becky Lynch was tweeting about it. So we send out our support and our love to anybody who is suffering over the last couple of days with these decisions that have been handed down, and the last week really with some of the other decisions that have been handed down. We stand in support of you. We respect you. We appreciate you madly. So just letting you know, from us to you all, we got you back. We'll always have you back. And the fight's not over. Always remember that. The fight's not over, you know. All right. Take care of yourselves. Be well. And we'll talk to you next week with another brand new live episode of Strong Style.